I guess to start just halfway through, just how's the offense looking, and what are you guys focusing on specifically as you get into the back half of camp?
In spurts, good. Like probably everywhere in the nation right now, you got good days and you got bad, and we've had obviously some bad days. Our defense is really talented. But the good thing about it is if we have a day that we're a little off, we typically bounce back and have a really good day. And so that's kind of what you want to see right now is some back and forth with the two sides. And that's what you're seeing. Like we'll have a good day on offense, and then defense comes out with some energy and some motivation. And we had a bad day the other day, and we came back and played well. So good in spurts. Obviously, got to sustain it, right? We got to sustain it. But I like what I see in spurts.
You have a new quarterback, relatively new O-line, new pieces on the outside.
Yeah.
How much reinvention are you having to do?
I wouldn't say reinvention. It's our job as coaches, and we get paid to coach them to the system we run. Now, does the system morph around the players? Absolutely. That's the same at every position. Quarterback specifically figuring out what he does well and how his mind works, and then obviously the parts around him, have to match that. And so I think right now it's a process of finding out what we do good. And we have a pretty good idea with that. Now, are we polished yet? No, absolutely not. And I would venture to guess that nobody in America is right now. But ultimately, we do have a system here. We run a system, which is probably different than other places. We're not just sitting there calling plays. It's a system that matches up, and we have to get our guys good at that. Now, if there's certain things that we like to do that we can't do because of certain skill sets, and obviously we're gonna shy away from doing that and do other things. And it's going to look a little different every year. Obviously, this year is going to look a little different based on the mentality of our group and what the quarterback likes and how it fits around him. We have a lot of competition. We have a lot of good competition in a lot of positions, and so that's exciting to see.
From what you've seen at camp, how's the explosive potential look for the group?
I'm excited about that. We've probably stretched the field as much as I have. I'm excited about our ability to play fast and to be explosive. And I think ultimately that starts with running the ball effectively. I don't think you can be explosive if you don't run the ball well. And our running back room is very loaded, and we're going to lean on those guys like we've done really every year. And so at times, like, we're going to ride those guys, and so but with that, if you run the ball well, obviously people have to play people down to stop the run. I think that's when you get explosive, and so it's got to be compatible in that sense, and we are. And now you also have to have the guys that do it. We do. We have some speed. We have some length, and the one thing that Mensa does he throws a really good deep ball. Like, he throws an elite deep ball, and so I feel good about stretching the field. But ultimately, I don't want to waste plays either, and so there's a fine line there of like taking what you got versus taking shots,
With the receiver core, obviously we know Tony, we know Cooper, just the rest of the group, how are you seeing them in that competition?
Great competition. At days, some of them look better than others, and it's not like, it's a lot like I said about the whole offense. Some of that competition needs to be more consistent. You see spurts, we got a lot of guys doing a lot of good things, right? And then you'll have some bonehead things, so we got to clean up the misses. Your misses can't be that big, if that makes sense. We got to minimize the misses, and that's at every position, and especially when you're talking about like two people competing against each other, right? A lot of times it isn't about the great plays they make as much as the dumbass plays they make, right? And so, if that makes any sense. And so somewhere in the middle, you have to raise the bottom part, really.
Coach Darian Mensa talks about the freedom you give quarterbacks. Just what has impressed you the most about him and his IQ?
Well, the guy understands football. When you come into a place and you pick up the offense as quick as he's done, it's a testament to him and his mentality and his makeup. His football IQ is really high, and he's got he's very confident and very secure about himself and what he likes and what he doesn't like. I like that from a quarterback. Hell, tell me that you don't like something. I'm good. I'm not the one out there doing it, thank God. Or we have no chance to win. And so I check it down most times. But he's very confident in his approach, and his football IQ is high, which I don't know if you can play in this system if it isn't, to be quite honest with you, because there's so many moving parts. There's a lot of protection stuff, a lot of run game stuff, and a lot of movement. And so if you don't have a high football IQ, you know, it makes it tougher. You know, thank God that he does, and so his capacity is really high.
Enormous competition on the O-line. How close are you and Alex and Mario to settling on a first line?
I would say we're close, but we have a couple spots where, man, the guys are pretty close. You know what I mean? So you might see multiple guys playing, obviously, but we're going to keep that competition going. And we're going to, I think one of the best things Coach Mirabal does since I've been here with him is he moves a lot of people around. He gets a lot of people like looks in practice at playing different positions. I mean, you know, you might be the starting whatever, but you're going to take a snap at guard and you're going to be in there. So there's a lot of moving parts when it comes to our O-line, and really settling on the best group is going to play itself out here in about a week probably. We're close, but like we got to still keep competing.
When you have a new group on the offensive line, can you explain, like, going into a game one, you know, how much just the play of the offensive line in general dictates what you do as a play caller, and maybe how that can change during the course of a season?
Yeah, I mean, I think it changes during the course of a game. You know, if you're in the middle of a game and you're having trouble with something, then you're going to get more aggressive or more conservative based on how the flow of the game's going, right? And ultimately the matchup up front matters the most. And so if there's issues there, then yeah, I'm watching that very closely, and I'm trying to figure out, you know, the best pace of play and the best, you know, way to attack with how we're playing in the current position. Now, you know, ultimately, you know, we do, you know, like to do things a certain way. And so, but it is my job to push the accelerator or push the brake. And I think that's probably one of the more important jobs I have, is to figure out like when to go and when not to go.
If I would have went back 5 years and told you you would have a stretch of Cam Moore, Carson Beck, and Darian Mensah at quarterback, what would you have said back to me?
Probably that I don't deserve that, you know, that God's blessing me for no particular reason, because I honestly probably don't deserve it, but very thankful. You know, I'm extremely blessed to be here, you know, and I feel a lot of people here feel that way, because when you walk around this place, you find out pretty quickly that this is a lot bigger than you. And so we have guys that have an extremely servant mentality. Starting with Mark Fletcher, I would point him out, like, you know, very humble approach to leadership, very humble approach to the way he plays the game. And, you know, when I took the job here, just walking around this building and looking at who came before me, I mean, a pretty humbling experience. And so, you know, to answer your question simply, is just blessed, you know, thankful and blessed.
Last question, Chris. Tight end position, how's it looking to you with Elijah?
Yeah.
Experience, and then those other guys, how they come?
Man, you know, we're very athletic at that position. And those guys, and I'll say this, all of those guys are playing extremely physical, you know, because that position is a hard position, because you're an O-line sometimes and you're a receiver sometimes. You live in a lot of different worlds. Does that make sense? And so what you want in that position, you want a guy to be, you know, have great ball skills, to be able to be very athletic in route running so the ball finds him, but you're also got to be an elite blocker. Sometimes that's hard to find, right? Sometimes those guys aren't shaped exactly like for the size and everything that you want for one particular job for the other job. And so all those guys have the ability to make plays down the field, which I think is like the number one criteria. Now, blocking to me is, a lot of it is obviously there's technique involved, but it's want to. Like, do you want to block this guy? You know what I mean? If you want to block him, a lot of times you'll block him. You know, it's a lot of just want to in that deal. And I've been very impressed with those guys. I mean, I think we're going to be very pleased with that position. Awesome. I mean, Vidi's done a great job getting those guys, you know, where they are right now.